Hello, everyone. I'm Cheldin Barlatt Rumer, and this is it. Welcome back to This Is It TV. I am so excited to be connecting with my friend. I would love for him to introduce himself, his first and last name, and the name of his business.
So great to be here, Sheldon. I am Zachary James, and I am the CEO of Rebel Hill Consulting.
Oh, my darling. Now, we said it a little bit before we started recording, but this man has connected me with not only amazing business resources, but also what is going to be lifelong friendships. Shout out to Ashley Owens as one of the initial folks that I was able to work with based on our connections. You are a true connector. Do you believe that to be true?
You know what? At first I didn't a few years back, but now I've actually realized that dot connecting and helping people, it's a skill. It is a skill, and I'm trying to get better at it and better at it. But I love putting good people together for sure.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, you are amazing at it, and I'm so grateful for you. But I'd love to learn a lot more about the nature of your consulting business. I am
Right.
familiar, but I want to share the nature of it with our audience. If you could dive in a little bit and let us know what your consulting business is about.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. You know what? It really kind of stems from people.
Yeah.
I'm a people person. I consider myself, like I said, a dot connector, a problem solver, a business grower. When I used to work in pro sports, I always loved working with our season ticket holders and the fan base. But the problem was that anything I did with them had to relate back to the team. And I would hear about their business problems and issues, and I would think there's a lot of ways I could probably help them. And luckily enough, I actually learned a lot of skill sets from working in the NBA. So how they run their organization, I really think all small businesses and entrepreneurs can do the same thing.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to bring some of that education, some of that ingenuity, a lot of the strategy elements of growing a business to entrepreneurs and small businesses that I became familiar with. And
Right.
since 2015, I've been running this consultancy and working with a lot of small entrepreneurs, folks like authors. Dare Lease, who's been on
Yeah,
your show
for
before.
sure.
I have some authors. I have a couple of they do the resume writing and building. I have
Yeah.
a client that does that. But a big core of what I do has really evolved into working with my client partners. It becomes a point where a client is more than a client. And quite frankly, most people don't know me as Rebel Hill Consulting. A lot of folks know me as Zach James with My New Philly.
Yep.
When I put on my New Philly hat, you don't hear about Rebel Hill.
Yeah.
And that started literally as a sales commission-based consulting job.
Wow.
They were one of my very first clients as Rebel Hill. And I've been with them now for 4.5, almost 5 years.
Wow.
That client relationship has evolved into a part ownership. So now I'm a partner there. And with some similarities with Navitas Marketing too. A lot of people know me as Navitas Marketing.
Right.
And I've been working with them now for 2 years.
Wow.
So Rebel Hill is still the core. It's still
Yeah.
who I am,
Yeah.
but I spend 50, 60 hours a week doing work for Navitas and My New Philly.
Oh, I absolutely love that. With that being said, I think a lot of people are watching out there, and especially in the nature of things now and how things are a little, not the norm, and being able to navigate a lot of things that you mentioned, or what I dug from what you mentioned was the importance of relationships and having those relationships. A number of the large clients that you've had for more than a year, you've had for more than 2 years at this point. And so if you could speak to the importance of relationships, not only for your consulting company, but what you're doing with those key clients would be awesome.
Right, right. And I kind of learned that to say where it come from. In my career working in basketball, I worked for the Nets, hence the cup and some of the visuals behind me. Um, Everything I did was relationship based. I started in sales, that they have a quota, 100 calls a day.
Yeah.
I averaged about 42,
Yeah.
but my talk time was 2, 3 hours longer than everyone else because
Wow.
I was building relationships on the phone. And what I learned was that that's what bred really good business opportunities, not only with them, but through referrals. And it kind of just continued to go along the line. So I always cared about people. I think that's a genuinely good trait to have. But when you really try to build a relationship with someone, there's so many offshoots that come from that, that really intertwine you with that individual, which again
Right.
build a better relationship and build that rapport. But
Right.
now they look at you as a friend, as a confidant, as someone who they're proud to tell someone else about.
Yes.
So I've always kind of come at all business with that mentality, almost to the point where you could actually make a mistake for a client
Right.
and they love you so much that they want to work through it and make sure that they continue a relationship. Like that's a sort of a safety blanket you want to have, but
Sure.
you know that stems from the value of relationships and connecting with people. And the good thing for me is that not only have I established that with all of my clients and my clients' clients, but that starts to really permeate outside, where now folks are just coming to me asking for business help through Rebel Hill Consulting, or sometimes they ask it through Mind Philly or
Right.
Navitas. So it's been really beneficial to kind of have that as an internal part. Just always think about giving, give, and it just comes back to you. It really does.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think that the other things that I'm hearing over and over again as you communicate is more of an emphasis on quality versus quantity, going
Very
back to
much.
your basketball days, going back to the cold calling and the request for 100 calls, where the
Hmm.
relationships were there based on the quality of the relationships, not the quantity of the touches. If you could touch a little bit on that, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, first off, no one wants to be sold to.
Yeah.
Um, the realistically, I don't even know how they do it nowadays. But when I was selling 10 years ago, people still answered the phone.
Right.
Like it was easy to get through. And now, I remember when I first started with Navitas, and I really tried to just call a lot of businesses. And
Yeah.
I mean, especially if I'm calling during business hours, like
Right.
they don't want to hear you. And I realized that you had to build the relationship to even get to that level of the conversation. And if you build that relationship the right way, you get to the part of the conversation you want with them asking and not you
Right.
telling. And
Right.
that's so critical important. So even when I kind of came down here, and as I realized that making cold calls for a marketing firm really wasn't going to be successful,
Right.
it turned to, how do you build relationships with businesses? How do you connect with folks? I started going to all the chamber events, which I'm no stranger to, by the way. I used to do those 4 or 5 times a week when I was in New York.
Yeah.
So I'm going to the chamber events, introducing myself, and it's just about people liking me. Let me
Yes.
just give you that good energy and that good vibe, and you want to know what I do, and,
Yeah.
and you want to know how I can help you. So it's been a whole lot of that, sewing into other folks, building those relationships, and letting that sort of mature into sales and opportunities, and not thinking that you have to get the sales and opportunity just to put that energy out, because when you have that mentality, it's not going to work for you. But when you're sewing into folks and you're
Yeah.
providing opportunity, it's kind of a snowball effect,
Yeah.
and you have to trust it. The trust the process. That's our Philly term.
Uh,
You have to just trust doing that, and it will come back to you.
Oh, I'm loving it. And I think that there's a need for that now. And there's a need to work with someone whose focus is on quality, whose focus is on building relationships. And I want to make sure that everyone out there has a way of getting in touch with you. I want to make sure that they are all follow, fanning, and liking everything that you've got going
Oh,
on.
of
So if there's
course.
someone out there that needs your assistance, where would they find that information?
Well, there's a few places. I'm a very social individual, so social media is always great. On Instagram, I am zjames_RHC.
Okay.
I believe I am the same thing on LinkedIn without the
Yep.
underscore, so I'm
Yep.
/ZJamesRHC.
Yep.
Of course, I have a website, rebelhillconsulting.com, where they can see some of my work, some of the people I worked with. Hopefully, they won't be mad that I haven't updated my blog in a while, but the client comes first.
It's
I'm doing
okay.
other people's blogs.
It's okay. It's okay. There is no judgment. There is no judgment. I'm
Thank
telling
God.
you, listen to me. Connecting with this man is one of the smartest things that you can do to help build your business and your network. I suggest you do so. Thank you so much,
Thank
Zach,
you.
for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you for being amazing, Sheldon.
Oh, thank
I've enjoyed the journey over the
oh,
years, and
thank
it's so impressive to watch, and to tell you the truth, once things started to shift, and I realized we were going to be in place. So as we were going through our content strategy for Mine
yeah,
and Philly, we're coming up with new ideas and what we want to
yeah.
change. And I thought in my mind, I bet Sheldon's just going to rock this out. Like she's going to be on Zoom calls, she's going to have things, humming. And I saw it and I was like, yep, that's what I expected.
Oh,
Sheldon's a
thank
rock
you
star.
so much. We just got to keep it moving. We got to keep it moving, but we're able to do so based on amazing relationships, like the relationship you and I have. So thank you so much for your support.
Indeed. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, guys, a good one. And the perfect way to start your day, I suggest you follow, fan, and like my friend. From all of us here at This Is It TV, I'm Cheldin Barlatt Rumer, and we'll see you soon. Take care.